General manager,
you're going to get a player that can play every position, willing to learn, and a very competitive player. Yes, informal. Or, informal.
How does it feel going through this process with so many of your teammates, both on the defensive side and on the offense?
Man, it's crazy. Denzel's my roommate. I seen all of them. We've been talking about this since we committed to Ohio State, so it's just great to see it all in fruition.
How is the room with Denzel here?
Yeah, it's cool. We talk about what we see and how the season went and what we want to go on for our future.
Is there any competitive stuff for tomorrow on the field?
Not really. We're just gonna go out there and do our thing.
Jordan, you gonna run?
No.
You gonna run at pro day then?
Yeah, I'll be running at pro day. All my testing at pro day.
For your position drills here?
Yes, sir.
Matt played, that wasn't my responsibility, but I was able to get over top of him.
Yeah, it was fun. I like being around the football. Anything for my team to win, and it's a production-based organization, so the way I produced the most was in the slot, and that's where my team had me, and I had a lot of fun.
Jordan, in the middle of bowl season, you guys added Max Clare at tight end. What kind of problems did he give you guys in practice?
He gave us a great looking scout. He's a great route runner. He can block, but really his routes, I think he's going to be a real good passing threat later down the years.
And then there are a lot of guys that could take over for you as that third safety, slot corner. Who do you see as like the ideal fit for that spot?
It's really it's a throw up with Miles Lockhart, Lorenzo Styles, Jermaine could play it, Bryce West, so really them four right there.
What makes Jermaine interesting in the slot? Because we always see him outside, but like, what makes him good in the slot?
He can cover, really his coverage abilities. He's a very smart football player, so really that for sure.
How much did moving around Ohio State in the slot, playing top, how much did that help you prepare for the NFL?
Helped me a lot. Just me knowing every position now that, it's a 53-man roster, and every position and every roster spot is so critical, so it helps a lot.
Did teams talk to you about specifically playing in the slot, or did they view you as somebody that could play a couple of different positions?
They viewed me everywhere, so it was kind of just wherever the team wants me at, and corner, slot, and safety, so I've been having all three meetings on that.
Do you have a preference as to what you're better at, or what you like more?
Not really. I feel like I'm a corner that can play safety, so wherever my team wants me, I feel like I can play. Brandon Ennis, yeah, he's a good player, physical. He can definitely do what Matt can do, and Jackson what they did in the prior years. Got the same frame. And he brings that competitive nature every day to practice, so he's going to do a really good job next year. Yeah, he had a great role as a leader. We all looked up to him. He brought the juice, brought the energy. Playing against the receivers, we always had a competitive nature with him and Cardinal and JJ and other receivers too, so it was fun.
You guys have guys defensive side of the ball. I think back to a few years ago, seeing you guys trying to figure things out back there. What is the growth of defensive guys having somebody like you?
Really us just taking it really serious. Down the years, or my freshman year and sophomore year, we didn't have a good defense at all. So we really took pride in that. We wanted to be the strength of the defense, strength of the whole team, so that's what we did. And we got 3 other people that should be here this year. They could, so really the whole defense could have been here right now, which is crazy to think about, but they're going to be here next year too.
What makes Ohio State receivers different from some of the other top receivers you guys have played? What makes them different, and what allows them just every year to have that first-round talent?
Really their work ethic, and they're just naturally born like gifted more than these other receivers that we see. So when we go out there and practice, it's harder than the games. Like we see the best receivers every day in practice, so that makes Saturdays easy.
When obviously Brian Hartline's obviously a very good position coach, where do you see that difference show up when you go up against a Jeremiah Smith or a Mecca in practice, and then you get on the field against another receiver who's in the NFL? Where does that difference kind of show up, and what he's able to do with those guys?
Definitely the savviness. Coach Hart, he years in the league, he was very good in the league as well. So him being savvy and being smart and being a veteran in the league, he's teaching them up while they're young, and maybe they don't have the experience, or other teams don't have the experience that they have and what they've seen.
Jordan, what do you think Sonny's going to be in his second year as a linebacker this year?
I feel like he's going to be a leader. He's going to have an All-American year, in my opinion. He's going to try to be the best linebacker in the country.
And what was the difference between your first few years and learning under Coach G this past year?
You say that again?
Again, learning from McElravy this past year compared to the first few years that you were in Ohio State, like, what did you learn from him in a year that maybe you didn't know before this past year?
I learned a lot. I didn't have any background playing safety at all, but the transition was so easy because Coach G is a great coach, a great individual. So he made the transition real smooth, and he coached me very hard and held me accountable, and it's worked out for the better.
The mix between he and Walt together, like, is there a better coaching pairing that you could think of? That, it seemed like those guys work really well together.
Yeah, they work perfectly together. The best combo you could ask for. Coach Walt, experience with the league. Coach G, experience with everyone in college football. And he's a great coach, very underrated right now. But a couple years down the road, he's going to be a household name.
In terms of football intelligence, where does Caleb Downs rank on the players that you have played with?
Definitely up there with everyone, like top 1% for sure.
What stood out? I mean, like, are there moments that you saw from him just, like, okay, this dude, he's a little bit different?
Yeah, just I remember like the Texas game. We're in kind of like a 2 deep, the vert middle. He dropped one of the routes and robbed the dig. Like, I was like, okay, yeah, this dude's different. Right?
Was that something that you had seen on film, or was that just kind of instincts that he was able to?
Just instincts, but we've always talked about that play, and him actually going out there and executing it just makes him a great player.
A bit unique that he still has another year to play when he could be here, like you said.
Yeah, he could be here. We all know he could be here. So yeah, he's gonna go out there and be the best defensive player, in my opinion.
To follow up on that, he had a lot of those tackles where it seems like he was kind of the last line of defense, and he made a shoestring tackle. Like, what makes him so good at that, and how tough is it to do, to make a play like that?
Just his work ethic. He works at it all the time. Like in walkthroughs, he's imagining the play breaking out and him taking the perfect angle to get the last tackle. So he works at it all the time. He moves like a professional. That's why we see it on game day.
Jordan, I think that you had the final tackle against Notre Dame. Is that right? The very last play?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the game was decided, but just how special a moment was that?
It was all right. Like it was cool, but I feel like that natty was overdue for our class, and I'm just happy that we accomplished it.
What was the best moment of the season?
Best moment of the season for me, specifically, probably Texas game. Like Texas, I probably had one of my best games that game, and it was definitely that game going to the natty for sure.
And then Ryan Day, what does it say about him to go through that team meeting with you guys and just sit there and let you guys voice your thoughts on what was going on?
That says a lot about him, his perseverance. There's a lot of critics talking about him and things like that, but he really shut them all up. We had the meeting, and we all believed in everything he had to say and all the players had to say for us to go on that national championship.
What did you get out of that meeting?
That we're all together. Like, no matter that we lost that game, we're all together. We all have a common goal that we're all going to accomplish.
When did it sink in? The national championship run that you guys went on. When did it sink in, or has it sunk in yet?
It hasn't sunk in at all, for real. So, yeah, it's cool for sure, but yeah.
You kind of walk around here like with a little extra bounce in your step because you are national champion?
Yeah, a little bit. I feel like, yeah, I would say that for sure. Yeah.
Jordan Davison's one of the guys that Ryan Back was referring to that could be here. What is he going to get from going back and being at Ohio State another year?
Yeah, he's probably going to get the best version of him. He knows what he has to clean up for him to be a professional football player. So he takes his craft very seriously. You're going to see a big year out of him for sure.
Jordan, what did you see from Kaden McDonald the first couple of years at Ohio State? What do you expect from him this season?
Yeah, those first couple of years, I've been seeing it all his life. We grew up in the same area, so all those plays he made on the goal line, that's nothing new. I've seen that all my life, so yeah, it's normal for him. Yeah, thank you.
How about Edric Houston? What did you see out of him to come in as a freshman defensive end and then move to tackle and do as well as he did? Like, what did you see from him? What does that say about him?
It says a lot about him. He used to play edge, but then he moved inside because that's what we needed him to do. So he's a great player. His future is bright for sure, and I'm excited to see him years down the road.
You've had to do that to move for the betterment of the team. What's that thought process and the decision-making process for you when it's presented to you like we need you here?
Yeah.
How do you go through that?
It's easy, it's Ohio State. It's anything for our national championship. What I had to do, like I was going to win the national championship so bad. So whatever the team needed me to do, that's where I played.
What did you think of Jim Knowles going to Penn State?
He's going to be doing great things at Penn State. Like, he's probably one of the smartest people I've been around, sharpest people I've been around. So that defense is going to look scary over there for sure. So hopefully the Bucks end up on top, but hopefully he has a good time too.
Which player that you played against this past year gave you the most trouble?
Gave me the most trouble. I'll probably say my preparation, I had to be prepared for Tez Johnson from Oregon.
What about Tez?
Shifty, fast, quick. They use him a lot in like double follow concepts, so it's hard to get hands on and things like that. So Tez for sure.
Is there a guy on the defensive side of the ball at Ohio State? We're not talking about maybe in years' time going back to myself.
All those DBs, like you can go Bryce West, Jalen McClain, Miles Lockhart, Aaron Scott, all of them. Devin, I feel like Devin's going to be a real good player for sure. Really, all those young guys, they've watched us, me, Denzel, Lathan, Caleb, so it's going to be better for them down the road. They're going to keep on carrying the legacy.
I know it's early, but what about Devin stood out to you the time he was there?
His athleticism, I feel like he's very smooth. He's a smooth athlete. Definitely when he gets with Coach Wall and everything like that, he's going to be fine.
What does it take for a freshman to play? Like obviously you saw with Jeremiah, but like in Devin's case, what attributes does a freshman have to be able to step in and contribute?
Maturity. You got to know the playbook. You have to act mature. You have to get the old guys to vouch for you. And I feel like Devin can do that, and all the other young guys, they can do that as well. So their future is going to be bright for sure.
Jordan, when Denzel said in March, "Natty or bust," I know you guys all thought it, but when he actually kind of announced it, what did you guys think?
It's true. Like we all talked about it. He just announced that in front of the whole media and everything like that. But that's not anything we wasn't saying in the locker room.
What kind of pro do you think Denzel will be? What kind of pro do you think Denzel will be?
I think he'll be a 10-year vet, 10-year plus vet. He knows what to do. He's a 4-year starter at Ohio State. That's like extremely rare, and he's gonna do what he's been doing all his life.
You good?